What are you doing there, lady?
I'm making a very, very, very short.
So it's basically just a picture?
Kind of. An animated picture, if you will.
Got it. Want to give us an introduction?
We have a non-working Dodge truck.
Hold on, the room is spinning. Alright folks, we got to fix a Dodge. 2001 Ram 2500. It has the 24 valve Cummins diesel engine. It cranks, but it will not start. Customer told me he was just putting around, backing out of the driveway or something, and it started spitting and sputtering, and then it died and it would not restart. He towed it to one of these chain franchise repair shops. They told him it's going to need 3 fuel pumps and cost, I don't know, $6,000 or something to fix. So he brought it here. Sounds like it needs an injection pump. It's the VP44. Wouldn't be surprising at all. But I think, if I remember right, this truck's had an injection pump and a lift pump replaced relatively recently. So maybe there's more to it. I don't know. We're going to get into it. Truck's got pretty low miles. I think just over 100,000. But 21 years of the Illinois high salt diet hasn't been kind to it. This is a solid Northern Illinois move. You put the rust hider on the fender, and then it gets so rusty that the rust hider rusts off. Anyway, I think the frame's pretty solid. It's just got the classic body rot like all these old Dodges. He did put a new box on it. Came from down south somewhere. It's solid, got some dents in it. And then I guess he's got new doors for it. It needs cab corners, rockers, and fenders, and they'd probably be a pretty decent truck. Anyway, let's do some basic testing and then most likely replace the injection pump. Well, I'm demoing a new scan tool. This is a Launch X431 Pro S, I think is how you say it. It's not quite the top of the line. So we're gonna give it a shot. I haven't even turned it on yet. This is the dongle guy here that plugs into your OBD2 port. I like that it stores right in the tool. That's the problem I have with my Autel. I'm always losing the little dongle. And then up here, we've got some adapters. So it's got a bunch of these OBD1 adapters. And the Autel has these too, but I've never found them to really work or be useful at all. In fact, I think they're still in the original bag from when I bought the tool. But this one has some domestic stuff. So there's your classic Chrysler 6-pin, your Ford EEC, whatever, 4 and older, 6+1, and then there's the GM. So there's the GM right there, your classic GM OBD1. So that'll be cool. I want to see how it works with the OBD1 stuff, especially the Ford, because I have the adapters for my snap-on tool, and it requires separate power to do OBD1 on a Ford, so I don't know how this works exactly. Guess we'll find out. Alright folks, I'm pretty confident that I'm losing my mind. I think we were supposed to diagnose this Dodge truck. I had the missus help me pull it in. That was Monday night. And then we did the intro and talked about that launch tool. That was Tuesday morning. And then some ding dong left the key on and the batteries went dead. So I hooked up the battery charger, and somehow now it's Thursday morning. So welcome to my life. Let's try to pick up where we left off. I think we were going to read the codes. Yeah, I'm missing the little stand. So on the Autel there's a little foot you can fold out. Holds the tool up. We don't have that here. So yeah, I've never used a launch tool before. Not really sure what we're supposed to do. We're approaching an hour into this, and all I've gotten it to do so far is download software. I registered, it downloaded software. I connected to a vehicle, and it downloaded software. So I don't know how much software it needs, but apparently a lot. Alright, I think for the first time we might actually be able to do something. Maybe. Alright, it works differently than the Autel or the snap-on that I'm used to. Which isn't necessarily bad, but it's going to take me a while to figure out the quirks here. Yeah, we already know that. Come on, tool. Alright folks, it's a slow climb up the learning curve. No surprise about that. I did get the health report to run, and I think we have some useful codes. So the first two I'm not going to worry about. I suspect that they're both just from the battery voltage being too low. But we've got 4 codes for the injection pump. So we have a fuel valve open circuit, controller failure, fuel valve feedback circuit, and fuel valve stuck. So she's not very happy. I think we're going to do some basic power and ground checks at the injection pump, and then we're going to just replace it. Alright, the fuel pressure gauge is hooked up. There's a Schrader valve right on the supply line to the injection pump. I'm going to crank the engine. If I understand it right, the electric lift pump should run at 50% duty cycle while cranking, and then it should keep running for a few seconds after you stop cranking, and then if the engine starts, it'll go up to 100% duty cycle. Alright, we should have a ground on pin 6, which is that guy, and we do. We should have power on pin 7, key on, which is that guy. The key is on right now, and we do. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else we really have to check. There's an idle select pin and what? A sync signal, which I'm assuming comes from the crank or cam position sensor, and a data line, but we know the ECM can communicate with it because it can set codes. So yeah, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I guess we should try cranking it, make sure that the power doesn't go away while it's cranking. So that's it. I'm calling it. It needs a VP44 injection pump, and we're going to also replace the transfer pump. I'll try to give you guys kind of a brief overview of this 24 valve Cummins engine. I should say I'm not an expert about these. We don't have a lot of them in our area. I haven't worked on that many personally, so take it with a grain of salt. The newer 24 valve engines have common rail injection. It's Bosch system. I believe it's pretty much the same as what they still use on the 6.7 Cummins. But these older engines had an actual injection pump. And that's it right there. It's a hybrid electrical mechanical rotary injection pump made by Bosch called a VP44. And they're not very reliable. So they can fail mechanically just like any rotary injection pump, you know, the rotors seize or whatever, catastrophic failure. But the most common failure is this electronic control module up on top. So the injection pump gets super hot while it's running. You can think of it like a little engine. You know, it's pumping away down there, making all kinds of heat, and it's cooled by the flow of fuel through the pump, the fuel that flows back out through the return line here. And what usually happens with these Dodges is that the electronic lift pump either fails completely or it starts to get weak and doesn't have enough flow to cool the injection pump, and then the electronics inside the module melt and you get odd, intermittent problems, or you get catastrophic failure of the electronic part of the injection pump. So Dodge went through a couple of iterations on the lift pump. This truck has an electric lift pump on the side of the engine block. It's the thing right there in the middle of the screen. Those fail all the time. And I would imagine that any truck on the road today has had the original electric lift pump replaced at some point. If it was replaced under a warranty by a Dodge dealership, they eliminate this pump and they replace it with an in-tank pump, kind of similar to what the gas engines had. And from my understanding, those are pretty reliable. If it was replaced, by an independent shop or somebody outside of its warranty, it probably has an upgraded electric lift pump. And I believe this pump has been upgraded at some point in time. So we're going to replace that probably too once we get into it. I've been meaning to get one of these for a long time. It's a topside creeper. So you stand on the ladder section here and you can lean your chest on this pad and you can work on top of the engine without having to kneel on the bumper or stand on a 5-gallon bucket or do anything sketchy. And it saves you from cracking the plastic bumper cover or whatever plastic is up here, or kicking the 5-gallon bucket out and ended up doing a belly flop on top of the engine. Not that I would know anything about that. Well, that's probably not good. You guys see that? Pretty sure it's not supposed to do that. So how long has it been since this truck had any boost? That's the charge air cooler tube. If it's loose, there's no boost pressure from the turbo. So we'll have to fix that. I heard it hit the ground. Even missed the drain pan full of fuel. Well, the real fun starts when you got to get the number 6 injector line loose. Come on, baby. Oh, man. I don't know if that's coming out of there. Come on. Come on. Get on there. Yeah, I think the boss garage can just have these Cummins. I don't want anything to do with them. Sorry guys, there's barely room for me to get my arm in there. That's what we're going for. Back there, number 6 injector line. There we go. Loose. Alright guys. breather housing on the front of the timing cover. Now we can get to the nut that holds the timing gear on the injection pump. Now be careful, there's a washer underneath of this nut. Drop that down in the timing cover, you're going to have a lot more work to do. Anytime you want to come out of there, that'd be just fine with me. The timing gear for the injection pump is pulled up on a taper. So to break that taper, we're going to use a little puller. There's also a keyway in that shaft, and you want to make sure the keyway is at the 12 o'clock position. I got lucky on this one. It was at 12 o'clock without having to bar the engine over. There we go. Well, the gear will just sit inside the timing cover, and it's a tight fit, so it can't jump time or anything like that. The only real gotcha on this is we got to make sure that the key comes out with the pump and doesn't fall down in the timing cover. Okay, there's 4 bolts in the injection pump flange, and there's 2 bolts down here in the bracket. It should be loose. Oh boy. Yes, I see a key. And the good news is we've got the key. It's a Woodruff key, so it has to, you kind of have to work at it to get it to fall out of there, but it could happen. I got the fuel bowl out of the way. I want to get that lift pump out of there. This plastic fuel line connection is looking pretty scary. Now, don't be like that. Oh, it's not looking too good. There. Sucker. All right. Did we destroy it? I don't think so. I need a new O-ring, but other than that, I think it survived. So there's a banjo fitting on the back side of that fuel pump that you can take loose if you can't get that quick disconnect loose. Well, apparently that won't come out of there without taking that banjo fitting loose. So I wasted my time there. There we go. All right, folks. It's been, what, a week or so. We've got parts. Max is going bananas. There must be some kind of a critter who has taken up residence in this truck. I'm not seeing it, pup. I don't know. I don't know. Not in there. I don't know, buddy. I mean, it's hard to see how they could possibly get inside this truck. It's definitely well sealed and weather tight. Well, go check it out, pup. Well, he says it's not inside. It's in the engine bay somewhere. Up in the hood insulation blanket, maybe? I don't know. He's never wrong. Never. All right, folks. I made a phone call to Area Diesel Service, friends of the channel, down in Carlinville, Illinois. I gave them a part number and a serial number, and they sent me, well, I also gave them some money, and then they sent me a rebuilt VP44 injection pump. Well, if you haven't seen the video, last winter, I think in February or March sometime, we were actually able to go down to their facility in Carlinville. And while I was there, we got to do a whole tour, and we actually got to see the VP44 area. They have a whole section just dedicated to these pumps. I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the largest rebuilder of VP44 pumps in North America. Incredible facility, incredible video. I'll put a link, you guys, if you haven't seen it, should definitely watch it. They even have a process where they send these housings to the machine shop and they burn out an orifice with an EDM machine or something and actually repair the housing. If I understand it correctly, Bosch does not make this pump anymore, and they also do not make the housing. They make the internal parts, but if the housing is bad, you have to either fix it or try to find another used one. So they have a pretty cool process for that. Great guys, great to work with. Cannot say enough good things about Area Diesel Service. I'm sure this is going to work just fine. I also got a lift pump. It's not the one I wanted, but it's the one I could get. There's a so this is like the one we took off. There's an updated design. This is a gear pump. There's an updated vane style pump, but I don't know, it's like a week out or something and nobody has it and blah blah blah. You guys know the story. So we're gonna put this one on it. I think it'll be fine. Just, it is what it is. Please don't put links to whatever company, Rock Auto or whatever, that has it and it's in stock and blah 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 blah. By the time you see this, it'll be long gone. There is an issue. Hopefully it's a minor issue. Long story short, I had to move the truck outside. I didn't have room to keep it in here while I was waiting for parts. So I employed the services of my lovely, beautiful, very long suffering assistant. I instructed her to turn the key on, put the truck in neutral, hold the steering wheel, and I would push it out the door. Apparently, turn the key on means something entirely different to her than it does to me. And as a consequence, this keyway is no longer at the top. Hopefully it's not an issue. I don't think there's any way for that timing gear to get out of mesh. We're gonna just cross our fingers and just hope and pray to all known gods that that is the case. I guess we won't know until we get it back together. I think we're gonna be fine, but yeah, that was pretty stupid. I should have disconnected the batteries. That's like step one in the procedure if you follow the service information. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You gotta laugh because otherwise you're gonna cry. Let's get to it. Well, before we get too far, the customer was concerned that he may have gotten some bad fuel or that someone may have actually put gasoline in the tank. So we're just gonna suck out as much of it as we can. Use the fluid extractor here and I'm just sucking it right out of the main fuel line. It's the easiest way I could think of. I think this fella might have been onto something. I've seen fuel get cloudy like this just from age, so maybe the truck's been sitting a while. But it's not worth jeopardizing a $2,000 or $3,000 repair over, $40 worth of fuel. So I've sucked out what I can suck out. We'll dilute it with some fresh fuel, and we should be fine. All right, let's just hope that's in focus. We got to fix this quick disconnect for the fuel line. I should have just left it alone. I don't know what I was thinking. I took it apart the wrong way. So there was no way to get the tool down in there to do it the right way. So there's an O-ring, and then a spacer, and another O-ring. And then kind of a funnel-shaped collar. Something like that. You guys are in my way. So if we've done our job correctly, that should just snap on there. Like so. Beautiful. Well, these quick disconnects are kind of a one-time use item in our climate, but they work surprisingly well. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one leak. You just can't get them apart once they get a little bit rusty. Not that anything gets rusty around here. I guess it's time. There it is. 125 foot-pounds on that nut. Okay. I installed the injector lines. They're still loose at the injectors, but they're tight down at the pump. Got the throttle position sensor installed. The return line is cracked loose on the pump. New fuel filter. All the wiring's hooked up. All the vacuum lines are hooked up. Filled it up with 10 gallons of fresh fuel. Let's see, the breather assembly is back on the front of the timing cover. I think we're ready to try to prime the system and see if she'll run. Well, it should be pretty simple. We just got to crank it for a second here, get the fuel pump to come on, and then it should bleed itself out pretty quickly on the supply side. There we go. Well, let's see what happens. I don't hear any weird noises or anything like that, so we'll crank it for a bit with the throttle open and see if we get any fuel at the injectors. Okay, doesn't have much battery. Alright guys, I used the launch to clear the codes, rescanned it, everything looks good. It's got more miles than I thought, 176,000. I think we're going to sell them a couple new batteries. If I'm reading the date code right, it says I1. That should be September 2011. Yeah, you don't get 10 years out of a set of batteries in a diesel truck in our climate. I actually can't believe it works at all. Always forget that. Doing good. That's running great. Something's way jacked up with this door though. The wind just blows right through it. I think it's bent out at the top or something. Yes, Max, I hear you. Alright guys. I think we're good. The old truck seems to run just fine. I guess we dodged a bullet on the timing gear. I'll stop. Got a couple new batteries installed. Old Dusty. Don't use group 27s very much. Anyway, I think this old girl is DUN done. We're gonna ship it. As far as I know, he's taking it right to the body shop. He's got 2 new fenders and 4 new doors that are going to be installed. Well, they're not new, they're used parts off of a rust-free truck, and it definitely needs them. That fender's about to auto-eject.
People don't think we like each other.
Why? Because of our sometimes unhealthy banter?
Because of how I look during our live stream. When I'm not even looking at you, I'm looking at a computer and being very frustrated.
And trying not to chuck it out a window.
Or say any curse words or anything on camera.
Right. Alright folks, that's it. The Dodge is done. It's going home, hopefully tomorrow. Yeah. Do you have any redeeming words to counter the bus throwing that I gave you earlier?
I did nothing wrong. I was
She was given poor instructions.
I was given poor instructions like always. And I might not have been fully listening due to being pretty tired from a day of doing something.
I might not fully have been listening. Well, that's the first time that's ever happened.
I'm a very busy person, okay? Like, you tell me to back something up, and then you get mad when my initial reaction is to, start it.
I was curious why you thought I would need you to back it up if it would run.
You know what?
We never got that far. All right, folks.
Yeah,
that's
it happens.
That's it. We're done.
Wait, so was it fine?
Yeah, the truck is it's no worse for wear.
Well, I guess fine is a very loose term. What's the definition?
Yeah, replacing your VP44 pump, not a big deal. Book time on the pump is, I think, 4.2 hours. Add another 0.9 hours for the lift pump. Not a bad job. You don't really need any special tools. Follow the instructions. Make sure you got the right key, that you get it timed right, and yeah, away you go.
Why do you have fruit snacks in your hand?
Because I'm going to eat these fruit snacks as soon as we're done with this outro. Thanks to everybody who's bought something, a t-shirt or stickers or whatever.
Yeah. They will all get mailed out eventually.
Yeah, I think we shipped like the first 65 or 70 orders or something like that. So hopefully in the next few days we'll get the rest of them done. I did find some more of these, of my snarky safety stickers.
Did you find them or did you miscount?
It turns out I can't count
There's that.
or do simple math.
Maybe you need to come to my math class.
Could be. Anyway, there's more of them on the site. Get them while they're hot. I will order more. Didn't expect them to be such a hot item. Yeah, Utility Expo, September 30th, Louisville, Kentucky. Meet and greet event, 10 to 2 p.m. Go to my website, watchweswork.com, and go to the events tab. It should be something there. This is the worst outro ever.
No, it's good. It's good. We're doing good. We're excited. We can't wait to see people.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Come on, come on. All right, ready? Come here. And we're distracted.
Well, there could be a new smell on the bush.
There might be a toy.
What is he doing?
He comes out with a baby bird. He came out with a tennis ball. And we're gonna pee on the bush. Thanks for getting the tennis ball out first. Hey, sit. Come here. Sit. Hey, sit. 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 Good boy. Good boy. You ready? You ready? Go.
Worst retriever ever. What's the difference between 7-year-old Max and 7-month-old Max? Yeah, you used to be able to do this all day long.
Sit.